Happening now, New York State's COVID-19 report card is raising more questions than answers. We work to break down the confusion next. Plus, the latest on a major meth bust in Warren County, Pennsylvania.
And clouds are going to part later this afternoon, leading to a lot of sunshine, but much more cooler air, and frost is going to be on the way. I've got the details next. The news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now on this Friday. I'm Justin Gould. The new system for all state public school districts to report COVID-19 testing and positive results seems to be adding confusion to who has what and where they are. A morning check of the school COVID-19 report card shows 2 cases in School 7 in Dunkirk, which the district superintendent says were reported in error. But Superintendent Michael Mansfield later clarified the 2 positive cases were not pupils who are currently physically attending the school, though they do have COVID-19. The state report card currently does not show the positive case at Sinclairville Elementary School, which Cassadaga Valley School Superintendent Chuck Lechner reported to the public through a statement yesterday. He says that the student who tested positive was also not physically attending there. Now, various news organizations have reported problems with the timeliness of reporting and also accuracy issues. We've reached out to Chautauqua County officials to see if they can clear up the confusion, and when they get back to us, we will update our reporting at WNYNewsNow.com. 3 Warren County residents are part of a group of 15 people indicted by federal authorities in a sweeping meth sting that reached into Warren County, Ohio, and as far as Mexico. Among those indicted are Gail Flick Jr. of Gerardland and Cody Greeland of Tidiute and Kevin Hewitt of Grand Valley. U.S. Attorney Scott Brady unsealed the indictments from a federal grand jury hearing the case yesterday. He says Tucker and Flick traveled regularly to Ohio to collect meth, usually by the half a pound, and then repackaged it for smaller sales in Warren and Crawford County, Pennsylvania.
So Flick and Tucker operated out of their residence located in Grand Valley, Pennsylvania. They referred to it as the farm. And Flick and Tucker had 6 to 9 upper echelon members of their conspiracy living with them at the farm. And these members were their primary distributors. These were lower level runners and mid-level distributors that received meth and then sold to end users. And again, the distribution occurred throughout Crawford, Warren, and Venango counties.
Now, investigators say members of their meth ring were also connected to increased violence, including gunfire at houses, and were enforcers in the drug trade. Firearms and an explosive device were seized during their investigation. Well, it's a normal part of life felt by everyone regardless of age, but stress may look different in children, especially because of this school year. Our Mandy Gaither tells us the signs to look out for and ways to help your child cope.
School can be stressful for students in a normal year, but add in a pandemic.
Definitely going to feel a lot more intense.
Licensed therapist Jody Baumstein with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Strong for Life says signs of school-related stress in students can include an attempt to avoid school or procrastinate. Some may have physical complaints like a stomach ache or headache with no known medical cause but tend to come near school time. There can also be distinct changes in mood or behavior. Some may be irritable, others may cry, or you may see a difference in eating or sleeping patterns. Baumstein says if you see these signs, get to the root of the stress by asking open-ended questions.
Instead of saying something like, is school making you anxious or stressed? Asking them, how do you feel about school? Or how are you feeling about it? And really giving them a chance to guide the conversation.
Then you can work with your child on problem solving, helping them to think critically about how to fix the situation. And once they're calm, it's a good time to teach coping skills.
It's really just about doing things that make them feel better. So for instance, it might be turning on some music and dancing, or getting outside and running around, playing a game together. It doesn't have to be serious.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Mandy, thank you. It's also important to have your children keep up with healthy habits. Getting enough sleep, eating right, staying hydrated, and keeping them active can also help ease some of that stress. Well, a nonprofit raising awareness about testicular cancer is seeing overwhelming community support for their fundraising efforts, but they're having a hard time achieving their true goal of breaking down stigmas about the disease. The founder of the One Ball Foundation, Ben Lindquist, says normally he'd be meeting with young people in the community to educate them about the illness. However, gathering restrictions have dampened that effort. For example, Lindquist says he once had a strong conversation with a group of area Boy Scouts that wouldn't have had the same impact if it was not in person.
I took a duffel bag full of balls, a football, a basketball, a baseball, a softball, a racquetball, a golf ball, you name it. I had a whole duffel bag full, and I'd pull one out and I'd ask, the group, hey, anybody know what this is? Kid says, it's a football. So I'd throw it to him. Hey, what's this? Oh, it's a baseball. Throw him the baseball. And I went through my whole bag, probably 10 balls. And I said, anybody sense a theme here? And they're like, well, you got a bunch of balls. We going to talk about sports? Nope, we're going to talk about balls. We're going to talk about testicular cancer. And all of a sudden, the laughing that was, good-hearted laughing all kind of turned into like a nervous laugh. And then I had to, bring them back to listen. It's okay. This is why I brought this whole bag of balls, so that you'd feel comfortable with the subject area that we're going to talk about right now. And that's the type of thing that we want to be able to do as an organization, and go into classrooms and go into these youth groups and go into, it could be a church youth group, it could be a school youth group, it could be a sports team, it could be a school classroom, anything. And there's ways that we can break the ice. There's ways that we can be able to deliver the message.
Lindquist says for him, the biggest obstacle of the pandemic is the inability to connect face to face.
The realness of it, is just not the same. The personal touch. It's hard to throw a ball through my webcam right now, and I'm a handshake kind of guy, a face to face. I like to, joke and laugh and have a good time.
Before being diagnosed himself, Lindquist didn't know anyone with testicular cancer other than professional road racing cyclist Lance Armstrong. He says that's why he's made it his mission to break down the stigma associated with the disease. His group started in 2013 when they held the first one-ball wiffle ball tournament for testicular cancer, an event that has since grown into an annual occurrence. He says because of the pandemic's health concerns and government restrictions, the foundation was unable to hold the event this year.
We made a decision probably around August 1st that we said, September 5th, Labor Day weekend, it's just not going to work. We have not been given full clearance to open things up at this point in time. We can't have 150 people playing wiffle ball and another 200 people there potentially for a chicken dinner and just spectators and raffles and everything we do. It just was not going to work.
Instead, the One Ball Foundation is holding only one fundraiser, their Stack Your Balls Golf Scramble. At first, Lindquist says his group thought they would have trouble raising funds for the event, but the community proved them wrong.
For every one business and one person that has said that they're unable to do something this year, there's been 3 or 4 that have been right there and said, hey, we're still here. We still support you. The people that give the most are sometimes the people that have the least, but they have the most heart, they have the most passion, and they got to where they are because of that caring community and environment that we're in.
Linquist says those looking to partake in the golf scramble tomorrow still have an opportunity to buy into a raffle auctioning off a signed Josh Allen football helmet. For more, visit facebook.com/oneball4tc. This report is part of a series sponsored by our friends at JRSC Digital to highlight how business, community groups, and individuals are impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, we thank you for joining us here for WNY News Now on our TGIF edition. Hopefully everybody's having a great Friday out there. Good to see Judy, Gail, Matthew. Hello to you. Thanks so much for tuning in and getting a check of Jamestown's local news. Good to see Dave. Good to see Jennifer, Lisa, Ashley, Teresa, and Joseph as well. Happy to have all of you here along with us today. Let's now switch gears and get a check of our First Defense weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter standing by with that. And Dakota, lots of sunshine out there, but a little bit chilly.
Yes, it is. And the fall air has started to filter in, and this is pretty much going to be the case throughout the next several days. So if you're an autumn person, you're going to love this. If you're not, then sorry. But anyway, here's a live look over Salamanca. This is looking north, and you can see the cloud cover over the Allegheny Mountains. These clouds are going to ultimately go away later this afternoon, and we should break out to mostly sunny skies later this afternoon. You can see on the satellite and radar, you can see a few of those clouds coming in from the north. That is our wind direction today, north-northeast. So when we have a northerly wind component, you know what that means. Cooler air, always the case when we have a northerly wind component. But the bigger story is going to be this weekend. We've been hinting about this for the past couple of days, that frost is likely going to be likely. So essentially, we do have frost advisories that are in effect for Chautauqua and Warren counties, and there is a freeze warning out here for Cattaraugus County, and the difference meaning that there's likely going to be patchy frost across the westernmost counties. Once you go out to the east, especially in Cattaraugus County, further to the east and south, there's going to be more widespread frost. So that's the difference between a frost advisory and a freeze warning, is the fact that temperatures here are going to be much cooler tonight, so there will be likely patchy to widespread frost across the area. So if you have any tender vegetation, you know what to do. Cover them up or bring them inside to prevent damage. The growing season is coming to an end here pretty quick. 66 was the high yesterday. Look at where we should be in the lower 70s. 90 and 29 are the record highs and lows for this date set at the Jamestown airport. So through the afternoon today, early clouds are going to go away. Then we go into lots of sunshine for the afternoon. Crisp and cool, but a brisk breeze. 54 on the hills to 63 at the lake. That's it, with a north wind averaging about 7 to 16 miles per hour. The cool air continues into the weekend. Then we start warming up a little bit into next week as we kick off autumn. I'll have the details in a few. Justin?
All right, Dakota, looking forward to it. Thank you. A single vehicle crash has led to aggravated driving while intoxicated charges for a town of Gary man. New York State Police responded to the crash yesterday on Gary Ellington Road, where a vehicle left the roadway, slamming into a ditch. Police say 61-year-old Brian Watson failed several field sobriety tests and was charged. Troopers say Watson blew a breath sample of .23. He was processed, issued appearance tickets, and released. He's scheduled to appear in the town of Gary court on a later date. Well, the candidates for New York's 23rd Congressional District are in disagreement over how much progress the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus has accomplished when negotiating a second COVID-19 stimulus package. Incumbent Republican Congressman Tom Reed and Democratic challenger Tracy Matrano both spoke to reporters yesterday. Reed says even though the caucus couldn't get a deal struck, the members were able to achieve more this week than in the last few months.
This was a long-term project, as many of you have heard us talk about it for many a weeks, and we were able to deliver a game-changing product that jump-started the conversation here in D.C.
However, Matrano says that the Problem Solvers Caucus has failed to accomplish anything that would help Americans. In fact, she argues that the caucus is nothing but a public relations committee.
Because it sounds good to ring the bipartisan bell, but when all you really do is put out press statements or get on press calls and talk about how bipartisan one is, and when nothing comes as a result, it further confuses people about what in the heck is really going on.
Well, Democrat leadership in the House on Wednesday said that they aren't going to move forward with the caucus's package as it stands, but a spokesperson for Reid's office tells us that the bill isn't dead yet. Well, coming up next, the latest on a week-long boil water order here in Chautauqua County. And later, we go live to the local Humane Society for our Pet of the Week segment. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
I grew up in a single-parent home. We were raised by my mom in a one-bedroom apartment in Queens, and I slept in what was supposed to be a dining room just off the kitchen. We were poor and fell behind in our bills. More than once, our electricity was shut off and there were eviction notices taped to our door. I remember walking into our kitchen and finding my mother standing by the stove, crying to herself because she didn't know what to do and felt helpless. I was about 9 or 10 when our apartment was robbed. I remember arriving home with my mother and brother and finding the door open, feeling confused because the first thing I saw was that our television, a set which forever sat on a stand in the living room, was missing. I know firsthand what it's like to be a victim, to be assaulted, robbed, to have things taken from you which you're never going to get back, and to be scarred by experiences which 30 and 40 years later still haunt me. We're lucky enough to live in Chautauqua County where by and large we feel safe, but unfortunately bad things do happen here. I want to be the district attorney who personally prosecutes the most serious crimes and who's there for victims every step of the way. These are the people I want to represent, to fight for their justice, to fight for our justice in the courtroom, to help people who have suffered at the hands of others. This is why I want to be your district attorney.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And welcome back. A week-long boil water order in the village of Fredonia is continuing. The Chautauqua County Department of Health reassessed the water yesterday and report quality is improving. However, the order will remain in place. Residents are asked to boil water for common activities like drinking, making ice, brushing teeth, washing dishes, and food preparation. Bottled water is also being distributed tomorrow and Monday from 4 to 7 at the Fredonia Department of Public Works. The order first went into effect last week following a routine check that discovered cloudiness. Those with questions or concerns are asked to contact the Chautauqua County Health Department. Well, the process of picking a president is underway, and although November 3rd is still a while off, starting today, some people can cast their ballot. John Lawrence explains.
President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden both on the campaign trail Thursday night.
This is the most important election in the history of our country.
I'm going to be America's president, not a Democratic president. I'm a Democrat, proud of it, but America's president.
And now the race for the White House escalates as early in-person voting and absentee voting begin in several states. Most mail-in ballot application deadlines are in October. It's a process the Trump administration has repeatedly blasted, making unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud.
Everyone knows mail-in ballots are a disaster.
Oh, wait a minute. We just discovered 100,000 ballots. Every vote must be counted. Yeah, but we don't know where these freaking votes came from.
Biden calls such comments an attempt to delegitimize the election.
Look, if the president had even remote confidence he was likely to win the election, he wouldn't be doing this.
But there's greater interest in absentee and mail-in ballots nationwide this year due to COVID-19, and some fear the fraud claims could lead to problems.
We started 2020 seeing intense levels of voter suppression and voting discrimination, and that picture has been compounded by the pandemic.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
John, thank you. The first debate between the two are set for September 29th. Well, the U.S. Commerce Department says it plans to restrict access to the popular app TikTok over the weekend. The department is enforcing President Trump's executive order against apps headquartered in China. That's starting Sunday. The Commerce Department will prohibit any moves to distribute or maintain the app, but users who have already downloaded it can continue to use it. In addition, the department says it will be illegal to host internet traffic associated with it beginning Sunday. The same action will take effect for TikTok and other apps on November 12th. The Commerce Department says further action may still be necessary and could be taken later. Well, it's apparently a sweet time to be a candy maker, especially if you're making Halloween treats. The National Confectionaries Association reports sales of chocolate and candy up for the spooky holiday this year. Halloween chocolate, in particular, has seen a big boost. The group reports more than a quarter growth in sales for those products. They point out people shopping at grocery stores more often as a spike. They also say retailers have Halloween candy on full display, and we certainly see that out there. Now let's get a check of our First Defense weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us now. And Dakota, you know, we're both candy lovers. There's no doubt about that. And sometimes it's just hard when you're walking through Wegmans and there it is.
Yeah, and you know, I think they still have like the candy corner in Wegmans, right, where you can go there and bag up your own candy.
I can't resist it.
I know.
Can't resist it.
Just as long as it's not candy corn, I'm all right. Hey, anyway, let's take a look at the fall foliage map. Updated on Wednesday, there's already some changing that is starting to occur across parts of western New York. It's right near Ellicottville, right where you see that little dot right there. That is that little spot of change near Ellicottville, but there's changing already occurring up in the Adirondacks where they've had the cooler air, and as we get the cooler air to filter out, expect more of the leaves to be changing here as we go into the autumn season. So it's way too cool, way too soon. Again, this is something we mentioned yesterday. Not uncommon to get cool air this time of the year, but this kind of cool air is a little anomalous here. 57 is our forecast high for today. Look at the weekend, 56 and 58, but at least the sunshine will help it make it look and feel a lot warmer. We do spike back into the lower 60s both Monday and Tuesday, and further down the road we'll likely be in the lower 70s by Thursday and Friday of next week. So as we mentioned earlier, there is a frost advisory that essentially will be going into effect for Chautauqua and Warren counties, and then there is a freeze warning for Cattaraugus County. The difference between the two is the fact that there's going to be more patchy frost further to the west, more widespread frost further to the east. That's the difference between the two. So obviously, if you have any, essentially if you have any plants that are sensitive to temperatures, you need to bring them inside or cover them up. And hey, this is a new graphic depicting frost. So again, the little ice scraper here is over in the widespread area. So if you're in Cattaraugus County, more widespread. If you're in Chautauqua County, more patchy, but the more widespread frost will be further out to the east. That's a cool graphic that we came up with this morning. And something we've been mentioning all week long, record cold is likely over the weekend. Low temperatures, the record low for Saturday is 30, and for Sunday it's 27. Both of those set back in 1929. This is actually before the Three Stooges era. The Three Stooges didn't come around until the 30s. Yes, Justin. So anyway, we'll get dangerously close to breaking those records over the weekend. Satellite and radar composite. Again, just a few clouds filtering in with a high pressure building in. These white spots you see, that's error. Essentially that's just a bad batch of satellite data that came in this morning. So nothing to worry about that. But the other problem is, yeah, we ran out of hurricane names. We're already at Wilfred. That's currently in the Atlantic. There's another system that will likely form into a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico that may impact Mexico or Texas. The name on that will be Alpha. We're going Greek with the next name. So yeah, 23 named tropical systems in the Atlantic this year. Can you believe that? 53 at noon hour with a north wind of 9. And yeah, we have a wind chill of 50 degrees. So tonight, clear and starlit, very cold, patchy to widespread frost. Again, the further inland you are away from the lakeshore, the better chance you will have of widespread frost. 31 in the valleys. Wouldn't be shocked if some spots hit 30, 29, 44 at the lake with the winds ultimately turning light overnight. Now, how about the future? Next 7 days of your life right there. 56 and 58 over the weekend. Lots of sun to make it feel warmer. Monday, a little bit warmer, 63. Again, patchy frost possible all 3 of those days in the morning. We kick off autumns at 68 degrees, lots of sunshine. And we start warming up into Wednesday and Thursday of next week with sunshine. Now, Friday, there will be a chance looking down the road, maybe of a few rain showers moving in Saturday and next weekend, but that is TBA. Justin?
All right, Dakota, thanks. In an effort to help animals find their forever home, we're partnering with the Chautauqua County Humane Society in a segment dubbed the Pet of the Week. Joining us live now is Brian Papalea, the Director of Community Relations for the group. Brian, TGIF to you. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Hey, thanks for having us, Justin. We are out in our bark park. It's such a beautiful day. And hearing Dakota talk about those temperatures over the weekend makes me glad we have the time now.
Right, yeah.
Chuckles with me here, and he's about 7 years old, and he is up for adoption right now at the Chautauqua County Humane Society. He we've had him out here in the bark park with some other dogs, and he seems to get along with those dogs. Though if anybody's interested, of course, we do the mandatory dog meets just to make sure that, he might get along with your dog. Not a fan of little kids. That's one thing. He's a cute guy, likes a lot of people, but little kids not his favorite. So, and the cats we'd have to talk about. That's kind of the stats on Chuckles.
Yeah, he is such a cute little guy, and he's really hogging the camera right now, that's for sure. We're seeing the wrong end of Chuckles, though.
Oh, boy.
No, he's a really great guy. We did a little expedition yesterday. That's the thing working with animals. You never can predict what they're going to do. So I've had a little experience. We had him as an office dog the other day. He likes to be a lap dog, although his status, just to go back to something else you're just talking about, I think he's had maybe a little too much Halloween candy over so, he likes to be a little bit of a lap dog, but he needs a little help getting up there sometimes. No, I've lost them here. Yeah. But, we also have, of course, like you've seen, plenty of cats in the cat colony and other dogs as well.
Yeah, so certainly the Chautauqua County Humane Society very busy throughout the last few months that we've seen here, staying open and helping the animals. And I know one big thing that we always try to plug is coming up your Walk for Paws event. It's virtual this year, and that's one of the big fundraisers to help keep your services alive. How is it going so far in the virtual Paws event?
We're seeing a very different, people, I think they're coming around a little slower than usual because it is virtual, and it maybe, seems like that emphasis and the need might not be there as much, but I just would like to stress that need is more than it's ever been. And for the folks that have signed up, we're very excited and thankful that they're doing that. We're really urging other folks to sign up as well. We've got some great prizes for people that do the fundraising. We've got some activities going on, which you can find at chqhumane.org. There'll be some surprises for that as well. And then we'll have some t-shirts made. We're working with Fresh Press Studios on that. So we're excited about, trying this because who knows? We don't know what the world's going to look like next year. So this is really just a trial run, and next year, hopefully, we'll be able to have the in-person event and all that. We also want to thank Happy Hounds Hotel and Day Spa as being the presenting sponsor. All the stuff they do for the pets, just amazing. They're great people up there. So just to get that in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what the whole community's working at right now is it's like, what will the future look like? And we certainly want to help you out as much as we can. So, Brian, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Here's a look at Chuckles' official headshot. To learn more about him or other residents of the shelter, It's easy. You contact the Chautauqua County Humane Society at 716-665-2209 or visit chqhumane.org. They have a full list of pets that are currently up for adoption right there. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We'll leave you with this live look over downtown Jamestown. Have a great weekend. We're back here Monday at noon.